Discover 1 hour of heartwarming stories, unexpected life-changing billionaire lifestyles exposed. In the heart of a small Midwestern town, Sam, a 35-year-old mechanic, toiled tirelessly at the local shop, grease smudged across his face and hands callous from years of hard work. At home, his spirited 7-year-old daughter, Lily, filled their small, cluttered house with laughter and dreams of adventure. Each day felt like a battle to make ends meet. As Lily's bright eyes sparkled with hope, Sam couldn't shake the worry in his chest. Were they barely surviving or truly living? Then came David, the billionaire tech mogul, who moved into the extravagant mansion that seemed to cast a shadow over their humble neighborhood. Sam couldn't help but feel resentment bubbling inside him. While David's wealth promised change, Sam was haunted by thoughts of his struggles. As the townsfolk rallied around rumors of new jobs and opportunities, Sam tightened his grip on resentment, wrestling with the stark contrast of their worlds. Yet, through all the hardship, the community remained a bedrock of support. Dinners were shared, laughter echoed through the streets, and when hard times loomed, neighbors banded together. Each shared moment was a reminder of hope. But how could Sam give Lily a life filled with possibilities when reminders of their poverty rang louder every day? One evening, dark clouds rolled in, bursting with furious rain. The storm tore through their town, leaving scattered debris and damaged homes in its wake. Sam's heart raced as he surveyed the destruction while grasping Lily's small hand. They could have stayed inside, safe and dry, but Sam felt a weight on his chest. Was it guilt? He knew he had to help. As he made his way through the chaos, he caught sight of David struggling with fallen branches in front of his mansion. Their eyes locked, filled with tension. In that moment, the differences between them echoed louder than a thunderclap. Sam's blue-collar grit was met with David's sheltered existence, revealing the chasm of their lives. But as neighbors worked tirelessly to recover, something shifted. An understanding began to weave between them, a softness creeping past the walls they had each built around their hearts. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the following days, the idea of a community event to raise funds for rebuilding emerged, and both men felt compelled to contribute. As preparations brought the townsfolk together, Sam noticed changes in himself. Connections blossomed, and in those moments of shared labor, he began to view David differently. They grappled with their different realities, but both were drawn into the heart of what mattered most, their community. Just as hope began to flourish, an unexpected discovery at the last minute sent Sam reeling. A revelation about David turned his understanding upside down. It could reshape their partnership and the town forever. Standing on the precipice of opportunity and fear, Sam faced a pivotal moment. Could they genuinely bridge the divide that separated their worlds? As the event loomed closer, the air thickened with anticipation. Sam sensed that answers lay just beyond the horizon, waiting to change everything. Sam stood at the edge of the town square, the makeshift stage being pieced together in front of him. He felt uneasy as he watched people setting up booths for food, games, and music. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, but a storm of anxiety churned within him. David was nearby, discussing logistics with another volunteer, his tailored shirt and reflective sunglasses striking a stark contrast against the dusty jeans and flannel shirts surrounding him. Despite their initial bond formed during the storm cleanup, something about the billionaire's presence still unsettled Sam. As he turned away, Lily tugged at his sleeve, her wide eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Daddy, can I help? I want to sell lemonade." Her innocence sparked a smile, reminding him why they were doing this. "Of course, kiddo. Let us set up a lemonade stand. We can use the money for those new playground swings you wanted." Lily's giggle filled the air, a sweet sound amidst the preparations. As they worked together, mixing lemonade and decorating the stand with colorful paper, Sam couldn't suppress the small flicker of hope. Perhaps this day could mark a shift, not just for him and Lily but for the whole community. Once everything was ready, the event kicked off with laughter and music wafting through the warm afternoon air. Familiar faces emerged, all gathering for a common cause. Sam watched as David engaged with the crowd, his tech-savvy ideas already in action, helping boost donations through a mobile app he created. People cheered when David announced small competitions and matching funds for the donations collected, and though Sam wanted to resent the ease with which the wealthy man navigated this, he felt the good intentions behind it. The moments rolled by, and just as he began to relax, Sam felt a handshake on his shoulder. It was David, stepping down from the little podium after his impromptu speech. "We're really doing something special here," David said, a sincere smile breaking through the lines of stress on his forehead. "Yeah, it seems that way," Sam replied, forcing a smile, but internally conflicted. Just then, a rumor reached Sam's ears. David, the ever-charitable billionaire, had his own motives. Someone mentioned that he was scouting the area for a new tech venture, looking to capitalize on the town's rebuilding as if they were a blank canvas for his next project. The thought twisted Sam's stomach. Had their moment of connection been nothing but a strategy, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, the town gathered for the first performances. Lily had created a little dance routine to share, and Sam's heart swelled with pride as he watched her bounce around, clapping her tiny hands. But just as he was about to celebrate, he overheard hushed voices discussing the proposal David was set to unveil at the end of the night, one that could change everything for their town, or tear it apart. Sam's heart raced. He could sense the tension building. Would this be the moment of division they had both worked so hard to avoid? "Daddy, please watch. I'm going to shine." Lily's voice broke through his thoughts. As she twirled on stage, her joy was undeniable, a stark contrast to the nagging doubts that crept into Sam's mind. But could he truly allow himself to be hopeful amid all this uncertainty? As David stepped up to the microphone, Sam felt the crowd's collective breath hitch. What would he say? Would it bring the community together, or would it pull them apart? Just then, Sam glanced at Lily, her face glowing, and wondered, could he really bridge the gaps, or was this just the calm before a larger storm? The moment of reckoning was approaching, and Sam braced himself for the truth that lingered just out of reach, a truth that might change everything. David cleared his throat, and the audience leaned forward. The sounds of laughter faded, replaced by an electric anticipation. Sam's stomach twisted tighter as he scanned the crowd. Each face reflected varying shades of hope, doubt, excitement, and fear. "Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. This is more than a fundraiser, it's a celebration of our community's resilience." David began, his voice steady. Cheers erupted, but Sam remained on edge, waiting for the inevitable twist that would reshape their reality. Lily's dance ended, and she ran back to Sam, breathless and radiant. "Did you see me, Daddy?" She beamed, her happiness momentarily distracting him from his worries. "Of course, kiddo. You were amazing." He hugged her tightly, but his mind raced back to David. What did he have planned? As David continued speaking, Sam focused on his words, trying to grasp whether they were driven by genuine compassion or a hidden agenda. "I've seen the potential here," David said, gesturing passionately to the surroundings. "This town is not just rebuilding, it's an opportunity to innovate. I want to introduce a project that can bring jobs, technology, and a brighter future." The crowd murmured, a blend of curiosity and skepticism rising. Sam sensed the shift in mood, the turning tide of hope toward uncertainty. He exchanged glances with some neighbors, their brows furrowed. They knew what his words might mean. "What if it changes everything, Dad?" Lily asked, her innocent tone yanking Sam back to the present. "What if we get to have swings and more?" He sighed, torn between her bright hopes and the worry festering inside him. "It just depends on how we do it, honey." As David dove deeper into his vision, outlining tech hubs, startups, and modern amenities, Sam's heart thumped loudly in his chest. The details felt ambitious, but there was one thing he needed to know: what was this going to cost? Would the community have a voice, or would they be left in the dust of progress? And that's why I'm urging you all to trust me, David said finally, extending openness with a breath of bravado. Together, we'll build a thriving community that not only remembers its roots but propels us into the future. The crowd roared with applause, yet Sam stood frozen. Before he could process the implications, a voice piped up from the back of the crowd, cutting through the excitement. But at what cost, David? What does that mean for families like ours? The crowd murmured, a wave of uncertainty rippling through the gathered townspeople. Sam nodded in agreement. Was this a genuine solution or merely a stepping stone for David's empire? Lily tugged at his sleeve again, her gaze unwavering. Daddy, is it good news or bad news? I just want the swings. Her simple plea cut straight to his heart, exploding his inner conflict. He knew she envisioned bright days in the playground, laughter with friends, but the weight of the proposal now loomed over them like storm clouds. Sam hesitated, unsure of how to articulate the tension swirling around them. Just then, David's gaze locked with Sam's from the stage. There was a fierceness in his eyes, a challenge, and for a fleeting moment, Sam thought he could see through the billionaire's exterior the desperate hope for connection. But could they trust him, or was it a facade? As the applause died down, David prepared to respond to the crowd's hesitance. Sam felt time slowing down, his heart pounding. Could the town truly come together amid such uncertainty? In that moment, all eyes turned to David, the electricity in the air heavy with anticipation. This next moment would define their future, but how? What would David say? Would it lift them, or send them spiraling into a deeper divide? As Sam's breath hitched, the weight of responsibility settled in. Would he stand up for his community? The time to act was quickly approaching. David looked out at the crowd, the anticipation hanging thick in the air. Sam, heart racing, could feel every breath echoing in his ears. It was a moment that would linger long after the cheers faded. Let me be clear, David began, his voice vibrating with authority. I understand your fears. I won't sugarcoat this. Real change requires sacrifice. But we can choose to embrace that discomfort together. The crowd shifted uneasily, murmurs of skepticism replacing applause. Sam felt the weight of each word, the tension rising like a tidal wave ready to crash. What does that mean for us? Someone shouted from the front, a middle-aged woman with weary eyes. Her voice cut like a knife through the air. David wiped the sweat from his brow, an edge of frustration creeping into his demeanor. Change comes with challenges. We must work as a united front. If you fight against it, you risk everything we have. Sam's stomach dropped. He looked at his neighbors, feeling the collective pulse of anxiety spreading like wildfire. Would they really risk it all? He glanced down at Lily, who was now fidgeting with her dance costume, oblivious to the gravity of the moment. Isn't there a way to grow while keeping our traditions? Sam called out, feeling a surge of courage. The words spilled from him, fueled by a protective instinct. That David met his gaze, a flicker of surprise crossing his features. Tradition is essential, Sam, but innovation is how we keep moving forward. We can do both. Imagine a playground built with technology that connects our children to the world while honoring our history. What do you mean? Lily piped up, her eyes lighting up at the mention of a playground, but Sam felt a pit in his stomach. He wanted to shield her from the harsh reality of their choices. David smiled, his demeanor shifting, almost softer. Think about it, young lady. Swings that light up when you swing. An app that helps you learn while you play. The crowd chuckled lightly, the tension ebbing, but Sam remained wary. Did David truly get it? Or was he merely charming them with ideas? Sam was tired of waiting. Mr. Price. Another voice chimed in from the back, a burly man with calloused hands, the evidence of labor etched in his very being. What do you plan to do when the jobs you promise here take our people away? What if they replace us with machines? Pressure mounted as David's smile faded momentarily. The room fell still. Sam felt the heat of the man's concern as palpable as the humid air. What if progress meant leaving them behind? I want a town that thrives on innovation, yes. David replied, recovering his assurance. But that must not mean we abandon anyone. We will train you, create positions for your families. Partnership is the way to ensure everyone has a place in our new world. The crowd engaged, but Sam felt a nagging doubt. Did everyone truly buy into David's words? He glanced at Lily, whose innocent excitement still shone bright, a beacon of hope amid uncertainty. Dad, she said softly, her eyes searching his for reassurance. Can we really trust him? Will there be swings? A lump formed in Sam's throat. I want to believe it, sweet pea. But we have to be smart. We can't lose sight of who we are. As David continued speaking, the energy in the room shifted again. The crowd seemed torn between hope and fear. Sam felt his heart pound with the urge to do something, to stand up for what truly mattered for his daughter and their community. Just then, David looked directly at Sam again, like he sensed his conflict. Let's create a future we can all be proud of. Together, we'll innovate while safeguarding our past. The crowd began to applaud again, but doubt lingered in Sam's mind. At what cost would they build this future? He couldn't shake the worry for Lily and all the children counting on him to protect their playgrounds. When the applause finally died down, Sam couldn't help feeling the weight of the choice ahead. Would they dive into the unknown, driven by the sparks of potential? Or would they hold fast to their roots, safeguarding their homes against the winds of change? With his heart thudding, Sam felt the time for action looming closer, the need to decide whether to confront David, to rally the community, or maybe to trust him. And in that moment, all eyes returned to Sam, waiting for his voice, his decision that could echo through their lives. What would he choose? The air was electric as Sam stood, heart racing, with the crowd now scanning him like he held all the answers. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their eyes pressing in. Was he really ready for this? Listen. He finally called out, his voice shaky but firm. I don't want to see us lose what makes us who we are. To his surprise, the crowd hushed, drawing closer as if clinging to his every word. We really worked hard for our way of life. The town isn't just some name on a map, it's our home, our people. We can't gamble with it. Lily's tiny hand clutched his leg, her innocent trust pulling him deeper into the conversation. He could see the crack of worry beginning to form on her youthful face. What if we work together to build something new while keeping our old playgrounds, our traditions? He added, searching the faces around him for allies. What if we don't have to choose? There were murmurs in the crowd, some encouraging, others hesitant. But in the uncertainty, Sam saw a flicker of hope. He glanced at David, who stood frozen, almost startled by Sam's sudden conviction. Every parent wants a better future for their kids, but we need to protect our roots, Sam continued, feeling bolder. Lily mentioned the swings. All children deserve swings that don't just light up, but also belong to a community that feels secure, invested. We need to ensure families don't feel threatened while embracing change. A ripple of agreement started to pass through the crowd, fueled by the fear Sam had voiced. Yet, as he scanned the crowd, he caught sight of a woman near the back whose face mirrored his own internal battle. She was a teacher, someone who had poured love and sweat into a school that influenced generations. David grabbed his chance to respond, recovery glinting in his eyes. You're right, Sam. We can absolutely blend innovation with tradition. It's a two-way street. His voice rose, caught up in the growing energy. But I need this community to be brave with me. Let me prove it. Let us aspire for a reality where our children thrive in a modern world without sacrificing our values. The crowd responded to his enthusiasm, swaying back toward David's message. Still, uncertainty anchored Sam's heart. Could David's vision be a genuine bridge rather than a facade? Dad. Lily's small voice broke through the din, concern etched into her youthful features. What if they take away our swings anyway? His heart clenched, torn between reassurance and dread. We'll make sure they don't, I promise. But we can't do it alone. We need to work together. With every hopeful glance exchanged, Sam realized how crucial it was not just to believe, but also to be there for them all. Leave behind the fear, folks. Let us find that balance. Sam shouted, his voice gaining strength as fists pumped in the air. As the crowd rallied, tension faded slowly. Yet in the pit of his stomach, a foreboding thought lingered. Would everyone be truly willing? Would David's promises hold water once the hot air cooled? He turned to Lily, who was now bursting with anticipation. The innocence in her bright eyes ignited something deeper in him. It was more than just a playground at stake, it was hope, dreams, their identity as a community. Let us speak out, Sam decided, meeting David's gaze head-on. But you need to make your intentions clear. This can't be just talk. Prove you mean it. David nodded, determination etched on his face. You have my word. Let us lay it all out next week. I want to hear everyone's ideas. An echo of agreement rippled through the group, and Sam felt a flicker of possibility even as doubt whispered in his ear. They were on a precipice walking home later. He held Lily's hand tightly, feeling the warmth of her innocence mix with the chill of uncertainty around their future. One thing was clear, this was just the beginning. With stakes rising higher, there were voices still to be heard. But then, as they reached the corner, Lily tugged at his sleeve, a question dancing in her eyes. Dad, what if he doesn't keep his promise? At that moment, everything felt fragile. Like the gust of wind that could sweep everything away. Their lives balanced on the knife's edge of hope and apprehension. And Sam knew they were standing at the brink of something that could change everything. What would they do when the promise of change clashed with the reality of risk? As Sam and Lily walked, the street lights flickered to life, casting warm pools of light across the pavement. He squeezed her hand, feeling a mix of pride and worry wash over him. There was something terribly important about what lay ahead, and he didn't want to let her down. Dad. Lily's voice, soft yet insistent, pulled him from his thoughts. What will happen if they do take away the swings? He knelt down, meeting her gaze, and saw her innocence battling against the anxieties bubbling within her. I don't know, sweetie. But I promise we will fight for them. We have to trust that everyone will stand together. Promise. Her eyes widened with hope, and he couldn't help but smile. Promise, he reassured, ruffling her hair. As they entered their home, the familiar smell of warm cookies greeted them. It was his wife, Anna, who had a knack for baking whenever life felt heavy. She looked up from the kitchen, her face lighting up with a smile that made the weight on Sam's heart feel a little lighter. How was the meeting? She asked, wiping her hands on a dish towel, noticing the tension in Sam's posture. It was intense. Sam sighed as he slipped off his shoes and joined her at the counter. But I think we're ready to have some tough conversations. People want change, but they also want to feel secure. Anna nodded, taking in his words. And you think David can help with that? He sounded sincere. Sam hesitated, the flicker of doubt returning. But I can't shake this feeling, can we really trust him? Before she could respond, Lily piped up, Mom. Dad promised we wouldn't let them take away the swings. He'll keep us safe. Anna knelt beside their daughter, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Your dad is very brave. But remember, sweetie, sometimes things don't go as planned. We have to be ready to adjust, too. Feeling a rush of warmth towards both of them, Sam wished he could wrap them in a bubble where no troubles could reach them. Together, they settled at the table with cookies, but the air was thick with unvoiced concerns. Over the next few days, conversations bubbled up everywhere, at the grocery store, the park, even home after the school run. The community started debating and discussing things they had never shared before. Little by little, Sam observed families gathering to share ideas, fears, and hopes. They connected over wanting a balance, a future that embraced both innovation and nostalgia. One evening, as they tucked Lily into bed, Sam felt a surge of commitment wash over him. He needed to harness this momentum. Tomorrow, I'll write down our ideas. I want to share them with everyone next week. Like a list for David? Lily asked, eyes sleepily closing. Exactly, he nodded, stroking her forehead. But I want us to think bigger. Not just for swings or playgrounds but for everything that matters. As he turned off the light, he smiled at her nestled under the covers. Protecting her future felt like climbing a mountain. But amid the pressure, one thing remained clear: they could find strength in one another. The following day, Sam gathered with a small group at the diner. They brainstormed ideas amidst cups of coffee and plates of pancakes, the warmth of community filling the air. Voices excitedly flowed, transforming nervous energy into a tangible force. Suddenly, David entered, a notebook tucked under his arm. The room quieted, anticipation crackled in the air. It was time for a real discussion. "Let us see what you've come up with," he declared, confidence radiating from him. The conversations began anew, seemingly small but gripping in their passion. As ideas began to intertwine, Sam could feel the heartbeat of the town rising, their identity stitched together by their collective vision. Yet as the meeting progressed, something shifted. David's expressions became evasive when discussing the playground specifics. Sam's heart sank as his earlier doubts surged again. Could they really count on him? The meeting closed, but Sam left with a knot tightening in his stomach, shadows of uncertainty looming just overhead. Walking home, he couldn't shake it. He needed to know more. As he approached the house, his resolve deepened. What if he dug deeper? What truths lay beneath the surface of David's intentions? The following morning felt heavy with the echoes of the meeting. Sam rose early, his mind swirling with thoughts. As he brewed coffee, the aroma brought a small comfort. He stood by the window, watching the sun rise, the colors blending beautifully in the sky, but he couldn't shake the sense of dread clinging to him. What did David really want? Sam's gut churned with unease, and today, he wouldn't let it rest. After breakfast, he kissed Anna and Lily goodbye. "I'll be back in a few hours," he promised, determination fueling his steps. His first stop was the town library. It had been a while since he'd explored the old archives, dusty and filled with stories that shaped the town. As he flipped through the yellowed pages, he uncovered historical decisions that influenced their community. He looked for any documentation about the original park plans, wanting to understand the foundation on which their beloved swings had been built. Hours slipped away as he pieced together stories of the past. High school kids had fought for those swings, families joined forces to preserve what mattered most: togetherness, laughter, and childhood dreams. Finding that history reignited a fire within Sam. Their community wasn't just about making a quick change. It was about honoring who they had been, how they had grown. His hands trembled slightly as he came across an article about the city council from a decade ago. There was a mention of a developer, but the details were sparse. A name flared his attention: David. The same David who had walked into the diner the other day. Sam's heart raced. Was this his David? He quickly jotted down the key points. The city had faced pressure, then overdevelopment projects. But what had happened? Why had they chased after innovations at the cost of cherished spaces? Sam's mind raced as he pieced the puzzle, unearthing a past that felt darker. David might not just be an innocent solution, he could be a thread in a much larger web. Returning home, Sam felt invigorated yet anxious. He needed to share what he had discovered. Anna noticed his expression immediately as he walked through the door. "You look like you've unearthed a treasure," she teased, but her playful banter fell away when she saw the seriousness of his face. "I found something," he said, pulling out the notes from his pocket. "David is not who we think he is. There is a history here, a connection to previous plans for development that people fought against." "Oh," Anna whispered, her voice trailing off. "What does this mean?" "I think we have to dig deeper, talk to the people who were here before. Remember the stories they told? We can't let our community be swept away without a fight." Lily, who had been listening at the top of the staircase, rushed down, her eyes wide. "Can we save the swings, Dad?" "I believe we can. But it won't be easy," he said, returning to his calm demeanor to comfort her. They all huddled around the kitchen table, and Sam laid out his findings. Hope mingled with uncertainty. Then, something sparked in him. What if we reach out? What if we gather those who fought for these spaces before? Maybe they'll remember things we don't. If we do this, Anna said firmly, we need to rally the town, bring people together. We can't just rely on David. Sam nodded, feeling the weight of their mission settle comfortably on his shoulders. We'll tell this story. We'll let people know what's at stake. As he prepared to reach out, his phone buzzed. It was a message from one of the old community members he'd idly searched online. She mentioned wanting to meet. Sam's heart raced again, but this time with excitement mingled with dread. What could she tell him? What truths might emerge? Let us see where this leads us, he murmured, glancing at his family, feeling their strength beside him. The road ahead was uncertain, but unity would be their anchor. Sam stepped forward, ready for the fight. But would they uncover deeper secrets than they ever expected? Sam's heart pounded as he sank into the old, worn couch at home. The flickering lights from the kitchen cast a warm glow in the living room, yet the shadows gathered like doubts in his mind. He looked at his phone again, the message still buzzing in his thoughts. Who was she? He muttered to himself. The doubt was suffocating. What if this meeting only led him deeper into darkness? What if she was another part of the problem? Anna handed him a warm cup of tea, her concern evident in her eyes. You okay? She asked, settling beside him. I just don't know what to expect. But I have to go, he said, the determination breaking through his hesitation. This could be important. Lily peeked in from the hallway. Can I come? Sam pulled her into his arms, the soft scent of her shampoo calming his nerves. I think it's better if you stay here. But I promise to call you and tell you everything. With one last glance at his family, he slipped on his jacket and stepped out into the cool afternoon air. The street felt different today, charged with the weight of what he knew. It wasn't just about swings anymore. It was about their history, their homes, and their future. Arriving at the small cafe where the community member had suggested they meet, Sam took a deep breath. The jingle of the doorbell echoed as he entered, the rich aroma of coffee filling the air. He spotted an older woman sitting by a window, her hands wrapped around a cup. Mr. Thompson. She smiled, beckoning him over. Her eyes twinkled though the years had carved lines onto her face. Yes, that's me, he replied, settling into the chair across from her. You must be Mrs. Johnson. She nodded. I've seen your name in the archives. I was hoping you'd reach out to me. What do you know about David? Sam jumped right in, needing to understand. A shadow crossed her face. That name, it stirs up a lot of memories, many of them unpleasant. David isn't new to our town. He has tried to push developments before. Sam's stomach tightened. What happened? We lost a lot. Parks, community centers, things that kept us together. His promises always sounded good, but they led to broken dreams. His chest tightened with each word, echoing the stories he had found earlier. But why? Why would he do it again? Power, money, greed, you might say. He convinces people that change is necessary, but all it really does is tear apart the fabric of our community. Sam leaned closer. Is he planning something now? The park. With a man like David, it's always possible, she whispered, glancing around as if someone might overhear. He has got a new plan in motion, and people don't even know yet. The cafe seemed to hush around them, the noise fading to a dull roar as Sam felt reality sink in. Milestones of their childhood, cherished memories, all at risk. What's his endgame? He wants the land, Sam, and he'll do whatever it takes to get it, she said firmly, her hand steadying with conviction. Panic surged through him. How could they stop him? Gathering their community felt monumental now. We need to warn people, to rally them together, he murmured, the urgency flooding his mind. Mrs. Johnson nodded. But remember, not everyone will listen. Some still believe in his vision. The fear mingled with anger. Sam felt the spark of determination ignite inside him again. It was time to act, time to shine a light on the truth. But what if we gather the ones who remember? There are others like you, right? He asked, excitement lacing his words. She smiled. Yes. There are many who still hold the stories close. They'll join you. But be careful, he might not take kindly to this. With renewed strength, Sam stood taller. I can handle it. We'll protect what's ours. I won't let another generation suffer. As he walked back home with hope and resolve, a simple thought consumed him. They were standing on the edge of a battle that could change everything, but they had to be ready for the truth to fight back. Arriving home, Sam noticed Anna and Lily at the table, still huddled over the drawings of the swings, dreaming. He took a deep breath, preparing to share everything. But a flicker of doubt gnawed at him. What if they weren't ready for the fight ahead? Just then, his phone buzzed again. Another message, this time from someone he didn't recognize but who claimed to have crucial information about David's plans. His heart raced with a new sense of urgency. Who else was involved? What secrets lay beneath the surface? As he debated on responding, he felt the weight of the world settling onto his shoulders once more. The fight for their community had only just begun, and Sam knew they'd need every ally they could get. Sam's fingers trembled as he stared at the screen. Should he reply? Something about the unrecognizable number sent a chill down his spine. But he wasn't one to back down now. This was bigger than him, and if someone had information to help them, he had to find out what it was. He took a deep breath, shaking off the fear. His fingers flew across the screen. Who is this? What do you know about David? He hit send, heart pounding as he awaited a reply. As he paced the living room, he couldn't shake the image of David's relentless pursuit of development. Memories of laughing kids, parents meeting at fundraisers, and summer picnics at the park filled his thoughts. They were all tied to the land. If David got his way, those moments would vanish. Lily looked up from her drawings, which were now scattered across the table. Daddy, are the swings going to go away? Her innocent voice broke through his spiraling thoughts. He knelt down, meeting her earnest gaze. No, sweetie. We're going to make sure they stay. I promise. He needed to believe that. He needed her to believe it too. Just then, his phone buzzed again. A new message. Sam's hands were clammy as he opened it. Meet me tonight at the old bandstand. I have more info on David. You're not alone. The familiar fear prickled the back of his neck. The bandstand, a place filled with childhood performances and community gatherings, now felt like something ominous. But he had no choice, the pull of the unknown was too strong. Anna. He called, the weight of urgency in his voice. She wandered in, wiping her hands on a dish towel. What's up? I have to meet someone tonight about David. Something important. Her brow furrowed, concern creasing her forehead. Do you think it's safe? You don't know who this is. I know, but I have to try. If there's a chance they can help, we can't overlook it. For the park, for Lily, for all of us. Okay, but be careful. I'll hold down the fort here. She placed her hand on his shoulder, her grip strong and reassuring. Sam smiled, appreciating the support even as his heart raced with anxiety. He kissed her softly, then scooped up the drawings Lily had made, slipping them into his jacket pocket. I'll be back soon. Keep dreaming, okay? Lily nodded, her eyes wide with trust. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Sam felt the weight of every word Mrs. Johnson had shared. This was about more than just a patch of land, it was about their identity, their community. Arriving at the bandstand, he noticed the familiar structures in the dim light. It felt like a relic from their childhood, but tonight, it was an unsettling reminder of everything at stake. He scanned the area, waiting. His heart pounded more ferociously than before. Footsteps echoed in the quiet night, and a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a woman, her face partly obscured by the low light. Mr. Thompson, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I'm glad you came. Who are you? He replied, trying to keep his voice steady. You can call me Rachel. I know more about David than you think. And you need to be prepared. Things are not what they seem. Her words hung in the air, heavy with foreboding. An unsettling feeling crept into Sam's gut. What deep secrets did she hold? He stepped closer, his breath catching in his throat. What do you know? Please, tell me everything. Rachel hesitated, her expression filled with urgency. We don't have much time. If we're going to fight back, we need to act fast. David has a lot more power than anyone realizes. Tension crackled in the air. Sam felt the stakes rising, the fight ahead looming larger than his doubts. Could this be the ally he needed? Or a trap? His heart raced as he prepared for whatever revelation was about to unfold. What was Rachel hiding, and what did it mean for their future? He took a deep breath, ready to dive headfirst into the unknown. Rachel's eyes darted around, her brow furrowed. Listen closely, Mr. Thompson. David isn't just a businessman. He has a whole team behind him, ready to manipulate the situation in his favor. He wants the part, yes, but he'll disguise it as something beneficial for you and your neighbors. He'll try to win opinions with fancy promises. Sam felt a chill. This wasn't just a small-time fight anymore, it was a battle of trust, and everything he'd fought for was on the line. What do we do? He asked, urgency spilling from his voice. Rachel stepped closer, the shadows bracketing them against the flickering streetlight. You need to unite the townsfolk. Gather everyone again, hold a meeting. Share what you know. I've seen how powerful grassroots movements can be. When people come together, changes can happen. Sam swallowed hard, the weight of the responsibility settling firmly on his shoulders. And if they don't listen? They will, if they see the stakes, Rachel urged. You have to tell your story, the story of the swings, the memories tied to this community, and how a future without them isn't just a loss, it's a fracture in what holds everyone together. The rising swell of anger surged within Sam. He thought of Lily's laughter, of the vibrant gatherings filled with warmth and love at the park. I want to stand by and let him tear us apart. I'll do it. Rachel nodded, the flickering lights casting their faces in a mix of shadows and illumination. Good. You'll need allies. Talk to those who remember the struggle from before. Rally them with your findings from the archives. Bolster their spirits. They are the heart of this town. As Sam left the bandstand, adrenaline pulsed through him, each step filled with a sense of purpose. He could feel the momentum building, not just for himself, but for everyone longing to reclaim their home. Moments later, he was back in the warmth of his kitchen, familiar smells filling his senses. Anna and Lily were working on a puzzle, the room aglow with laughter. Dad! Did you find any treasure? Lily chirped, eyes twinkling with hope. Sam knelt down beside her and smoothed his hand over the messy heap of pieces. Yeah, I found something more valuable than treasure. I found allies. He turned and faced Anna, who leaned against the counter, her expression shifting from worry to curiosity. We're going to fight for the park. I know what David is up to now, and we have to take action. Without hesitation, Anna placed her hand on his. What can I do to help? With our neighbors. Gather everyone for a meeting. We need to show them David's true colors and why our history and our swings matter. In the coming days, word spread through the town like wildfire. Friends shared stories with one another while making plans. Sam coordinated with Rachel, and she agreed to join the meeting, bringing history and insight that would help their cause. As the sun set on the day of the gathering, Sam stood in front of the crowd gathered in the town hall, overflowing with familiar faces, neighbors, old friends, and new allies. The room buzzed with anxious energy, each person quietly grappling with their fears and hopes. Sam felt a swell of emotion rise within him as he looked over the sea of expectant faces, many who had shared laughs, sorrow, and struggles through the years. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward. We're here not just to talk about swings or a park, we're here to talk about the very essence of who we are as a community. This is our home. Cheers erupted, but Sam held up his hands. But we face a challenge. David has plans that threaten to change everything we hold dear. Rachel is here to help share what we need to know. As Rachel spoke, her words resonated with the crowd. They listened intently, the stories of the past sparking a fire in their hearts. Not long after, voices began to rise connecting the past with the present, desires merging into a unified cry for resistance. Sam sensed the tide turning, their spirits lifting. What we have, we must protect, he affirmed, his heart racing as memories of summer days at the park swelled inside him. One by one, they shared their stories, voices rising together. The old teacher spoke of the laughter that echoed beneath the swings. A former mayor recounted the fierce battle their parents fought years ago to keep the park alive. With every story, the atmosphere shifted from fear to determination. Hope began to weave through every corner of the room, igniting something powerful within each person's heart. Then came the challenge, let us stand together. Let us demand to be heard. Boomed a voice from the back, and the crowd shook with energy. Sam smiled as his heart expanded. In that moment, he realized they were no longer just neighbors, they were a family united by love for their home. They were standing on the edge of something monumental, teetering between fear and courage. As the meeting wrapped, they made a plan to approach David. They would confront him together, a wave of solidarity behind them. Later that night, as he tucked Lily into bed, her small hands grasped his shirt tightly. "Did you save the swings, Daddy?" she asked, her innocent eyes wide. "We took the first steps tonight, kiddo. Together, we might just save much more than that." Sleep enveloped her, but Sam lay awake, adrenaline pulsing through him. He was ready to fight for their memories, for their community, and most importantly, for Lily's dreams. The next morning, when the sun rose, it wasn't just another day, it was the dawn of hope. Sam could feel it in the air, the energy of change. And he knew deep down, what lay ahead would require all of them to band together. As he stepped out into the bright morning light, pride blossomed in his chest. He was no longer just a mechanic or a dad, he was a warrior for his community. With Lily's laughter echoing in his heart, he was determined to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They would rise together united, unstoppable, and reclaim their future. And with that thought, Sam felt the warmth of hope filling him. Hand in hand with his neighbors, they would ensure their story wouldn't just survive, it would thrive. It was their moment now. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us keep this amazing community alive. Comment your feelings about this powerful transformation and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this inspiring journey. You need to show your support now. Don't wait not even 1 second to share.